This morning, as I do every morning, I meditate early. And in my meditation, I thought back to several years now that I've had this ongoing meditation of just simply being grateful. Gratitude. In my meditation this morning, in light of preparing this homily, I was thinking, how grateful should we be to our God who is so intimately connected with us? We believe in a God that is not way out there, the God of the universe. Of course we do, but we also believe that the God is closer to us than we are to ourselves. Our God is so intimate. In this gratitude about how God is so intimate with us, you don't have to go farther than the first two words of the gospel, I am. In investigating that language in the etymology, in its ancient form, this I am, of course, it means where God introduced himself to Moses in the Exodus story, the I am introduces God to humanity. But the overtones of the original language, it also is a very intimate way of introduction, and it also connotes connectivity, closeness, like oneness. I am. So we remember God introducing himself to Moses, but this I am introduction Jesus uses, where he reveals himself as God, but also revealing himself as God, he implies a very impersonal dimension of God, seeking a relationship with his flock, you and me. Let's look at that. In John's gospel, we hear Jesus say, I am in several different places. He says, I am the true vine. Relational connection. We are the branches. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Relational. We're called to follow him. He says, I am the bread of life. Relational. We will gather around this altar where simple elements of bread and wine become the body, the blood, the soul, and the divinity of Jesus Christ, which we become in communion with. Pretty relational. Jesus says, I am living water. Well, guess what, folks? We're baptized, aren't we? The Christ himself imbued in you by virtue of your baptism in a connection. Pretty relational. Jesus is using this prefix to reveal himself truly as God, but calling us as our good shepherd into a loving relationship to care for us just like the Father cares for us. So how should we respond to this relationship we have with the Good Shepherd? Well, my brothers and sisters, as baptized in Christ, we are the adopted children, and we have now a relationship with our Father. So our response is that we are permanently planted in the mission of Christ himself. We're called to be in a relationship with Christ in how we live our lives and live the mission to everyone we meet. Now consider those two words. Consider that I am and how we use those words throughout our lives on a very personal level. Let me give you an example. Hi, my name's Tim Schutte. I am Marcy's husband. I am father of 3 and grandfather of 4. I am one of 7 children to Mary and Jerry Schutte. I am an ordained minister of the Catholic Church, ordained 17 years ago to serve this wonderful community, the St. Andrew family. I am. It connotes that very personal connection, relationship between myself, my family, and my parish family. And with any relationship, I should strive to emulate the Good Shepherd, who is compassionate and loving, always ready to seek to bridge the gap of those who distance themselves from us. I should, and we should, live a missionary response right now in the 21st century. After all, this is not something that we're hired to do, being compensated today only to reject it tomorrow. We are baptized Good Shepherd ambassadors. This I am relationship should not be limited to the four walls of family dwellings or the weekly gathering of pew dwellers. No, because there are other sheep who do not belong to this fold, that as baptized members in Christ, living that mission, we are called to evangelize. We are called to help them enter into this I am relationship with God in a very special way through the sacramental life of the church. This is the very mission that's planted in us that should be lived and breathed in us every day of our lives. Now, the Old Testament, those vocations where God called, like Moses and David and so on, to lead and protect and to hold those in their care as God's representative, so too are we to do the same in Christ. So too are we to live as a flock together in a loving relationship with one another. So too are we to act as shepherds, caring for each other on a very personal level. So too are we to seek and find the forgotten, the suffering, the deprived, and all those marginalized in order to bring them the very love of the Good Shepherd. These characteristics reveal in us a sacrificial love. This is the kind of love that took Jesus to the cross, where he bled and died for his flock. In today's gospel, Jesus testifies that he knows his sheep, and so should we. He knows when they're hungry and thirsty, and so should we. He knows when they're weak and they're wounded, and so should we. I am, it connotes a very personal relationship with God and with each other. I should is the outward response by the way we live in relationship, being called by the Good Shepherd to be the Good Shepherd to everyone we meet. This, my friends, is gospel living. This, my friends, is baptismal giving. This, my friends, is truly being one with the Good Shepherd, who is one with the Father. We are called to be one in Christ.